Before sunrise in York, Pennsylvania, the street outside the small storefront was still and gray, the kind of quiet that makes every sound feel louder than it should. When the owner of the salon, a familiar face to fans of 90 Day Fiance, arrived to open for the day, she expected the usual rhythm: lights on, coffee brewing, appointment book open. Instead, she found shattered glass glittering across the floor like a cruel layer of frost. The front door had been forced. A styling chair was overturned. Product shelves had been cleared in haste, drawers yanked open and left gaping. The mirrors that once reflected fresh haircuts and hopeful conversations now reflected chaos. At first, it looked like a simple burglary, a smash-and-grab crime that small business owners dread but know is possible. In a town like York, where community reputation matters and neighbors know each other's routines, the idea that someone had targeted a local salon felt personal. Clients would soon see the plywood over the window. Word would spread quickly. But what police allege happened next would transform this from a property crime into something far more chilling. A routine call that turned into something bigger. Officers responding to the break-in began documenting the scene the way they always do, photographing entry points, collecting fingerprints, scanning for security footage from neighboring businesses. It was methodical, almost procedural. Broken lock, disturbed register, shoe impressions near the back hallway. Then came the detail that reportedly changed everything. Among the evidence collected were items and trace materials that didn't just suggest theft. They allegedly connected the suspect to an entirely separate investigation, one involving a homicide that had left detectives searching for answers. The break-in at a reality TV star salon wasn't just random vandalism, police say. It was the thread that began to unravel a much darker story. The unlikely link. According to investigators, the suspect identified in the salon burglary was already on law enforcement's radar. His name had surfaced before, in connection with a violent crime that had shaken another Pennsylvania community. But until the salon incident, authorities reportedly lacked the solid forensic link they needed to move forward decisively. The alleged burglar had left behind more than fingerprints. There were patterns, movement tracked by cameras, physical evidence that could be cross-checked. Investigators compared timelines, locations, and materials collected from both scenes. What they claimed they found was enough to bridge the gap between a shattered storefront in York and a fatal shooting elsewhere in the region. Suddenly, what began as a local break-in escalated into murder charges. Reality TV meets real-life trauma. For the salon owner, the situation was surreal. Her appearance on 90 Day Fiance had introduced viewers to her personal life, the vulnerability of long-distance love, the stress of cultural differences, the pressure of public opinion. Reality television thrives on drama, but it's a controlled kind of chaos, filmed, edited, and packaged for entertainment. This was different. This was police tape. This was detectives asking questions inside a workspace she had built from scratch, a place where clients confided secrets while getting highlights, where laughter filled the air on busy Saturdays. Friends and customers rallied quickly. Social media lit up with messages of support. Many fans expressed disbelief that someone connected to a beloved franchise could find themselves entangled, even indirectly, in something so dark. But law enforcement emphasized that she was not accused of wrongdoing. She was, by all accounts, another victim, her business damaged in what police allege was a desperate act by a man trying to evade consequences far more severe than theft. The break in the case. Investigators allege that evidence from the salon scene helped solidify their case in the homicide investigation. Surveillance footage reportedly traced the suspect's movements before and after the break-in. Forensic comparisons strengthened suspicions that had lingered for months. In court filings, prosecutors outlined how the burglary investigation accelerated the timeline of the murder probe. What had once been circumstantial began to look interconnected. Police say the suspect was eventually taken into custody and formally charged in relation to the homicide. For the victim's family, it was a development they had long awaited. Grief had stretched into uncertainty. Now, at least, there were legal proceedings underway, a path toward accountability, however long and painful that road might be. A community processing the shock. York is not immune to crime, but cases that weave together reality television notoriety and homicide allegations are rare. Customers returning to the salon weeks later described a strange mix of resilience and vulnerability. The glass had been replaced. Fresh paint covered scuff marks. Styling stations were upright again. But the story lingered. Each blow-dryer's hum carried the memory of that morning discovery. Each appointment booking felt like a quiet act of defiance, a declaration that fear would not permanently close the doors. The salon owner reportedly expressed gratitude to supporters and determination to rebuild. Small business ownership already comes with risk. Surviving a crime scene adds a layer few anticipate. The legal road ahead. While burglary charges may be straightforward, homicide cases are anything but simple. Defense attorneys are expected to scrutinize every piece of evidence, from fingerprints to timelines to witness accounts. Prosecutors, meanwhile, will aim to demonstrate how the salon break-in allegedly exposed the suspect's broader criminal involvement. Trials take time, motions are filed, evidence is debated, families wait. And throughout it all, the unusual origin of the breakthrough, a broken salon door, remains part of the narrative. When small clues change big stories, it's easy to imagine criminal investigations hanging on dramatic confessions or cinematic stakeouts, but more often they hinge on something smaller, a trace fiber, a camera angle, a shoe print on a polished floor. In this case, police allege the seemingly routine property crime cracked open a murder investigation that had stalled. The irony is sharp. A place built for transformation, for hair makeovers and fresh starts, became the unexpected turning point in a search for justice. For viewers of 90 Day Fiance, it's a sobering reminder that reality doesn't end when cameras stop rolling. The people who appear on television still return to real homes, real jobs, real communities, and sometimes real danger. As the legal process unfolds, two truths remain side by side. A salon owner is repairing her livelihood after a frightening violation. And somewhere else in Pennsylvania, a family is watching the court calendar, hoping that the break-in that shattered glass in York will ultimately help piece together justice in a murder case that once seemed impossible to solve.